You are lying awake at 3 in the morning. The room is quiet, but your head is not. The question is buzzing without words. What am I? What is this thing that is aware of this? If you have ever chased that question, here is the part you will not like. You will never understand what consciousness really is. Not because you are stupid or uneducated. Not because science has not tried hard enough, but because of a structural limit in the machine. A lens cannot turn around and see itself fully. A knife cannot cut its own edge. An eye cannot peel itself out of the skull. Consciousness is the lens you are looking through, not the object you are looking at. You are trying to bite your own teeth. And the more you chase a final answer, the more the question eats you instead. Most people hear that and feel relief or despair. Relief because they can stop thinking about it. Despair because they think nothing matters anymore. Both reactions are wrong. This is not a cozy mystery for stoners, and it is not an excuse for nihilism either. It is a threat. Because while you are hunting the perfect explanation, your own consciousness is already being used. Used by older drives you do not control. Used by groups that want your belief and labor. Used by systems that feed on your attention. You do not know what you are, but what you are is already enlisted. Already marching in someone else's ritual. Here is the ugly part. Consciousness was never designed for total self-transparency. It is not a God's eye floating above your life. It is a tiny dashboard on a raging engine. Most of what you are never shows on that screen. Instincts, memories, shame, desire, all moving in the dark. Then your awareness lights up for a second and says, I chose that. I meant that. I decided that. That is the story layer talking. Nietzsche saw this clearly. Consciousness is a surface effect of deeper forces. The press office. Not the king. It arrives late and explains whatever already happened. Like a spokesperson rewriting a disastrous strategy. It calls its propaganda truth. And then calls that propaganda the self. Now stack another layer on top. The sociobiology of it. Think about where this talking surface came from. You did not evolve as a detached philosopher. You evolved in small tribes. You could be exiled or killed. For those tribes, you needed a public mask. A sense of I that other eyes could read. Consciousness became a status interface for the group. A space where you rehearse what to say tomorrow. Where you simulate reactions and punishments in advance. Where you polish the story that keeps you acceptable. So your awareness is not just a mirror. It is a stage. You stand on it under imagined eyes. You point at behaviors and say, this is me. You hide other behaviors and say, that is not me. But the deep machinery does not care about the script. It wants survival, reproduction advantage, territory belonging. It moves. You explain afterward. You say I. You say choice. You say meaning. The organism hears only one question underneath everything. Will this keep me inside the tribe or outside? Jung and the old occultists gave another language for this. They spoke of shadow and complexes and spirits, not as fairy tales for children, as ways to talk about forces below the dashboard. The unconscious is not empty darkness. It is crowded. Patterns, archetypes, trauma knots, ancient fears and desires with new clothes. Consciousness is the little circle of candlelight in that cave. The magician stands in that circle and draws symbols, but the cave walls move. Something breathes back. You never see the whole system at once. You never see the thing that is seeing. You only see what the light hits. Then you build a theory from the shapes. So here is the turn. You are not meant to obtain a final blueprint. You are not meant to hold your entire schematics. A map with every grain of sand is useless. A mind holding a perfect model of itself would freeze, paralyzed inside mirrors of mirrors. The structural limit is not just a failure. It is a protective constraint. It hides most of the gears so you can move. It compresses the chaos into a usable interface. It gives you symbols instead of equations, stories instead of raw nerve. You do not need a God's view. You need a sharp human one. The point is not to escape the lens. The point is to know its distortions and use them. Let me show you the limit from the inside. Do this wherever you are. For the next 10 seconds, do not control your thoughts. Do not try to be spiritual or impressive. Just watch and wait for the next thought to appear. Really wait. Hold the intention to see its birth. Now. What came up? A memory, a word, a face. Maybe the thought that this is stupid. Did you choose it? Could you see the exact moment before it arrived, not the moment you noticed it? The moment before the spark? You cannot. By the time consciousness sees it, it is already formed. The watcher arrives half a second late and still says, I did this. Now try something harder. Try to notice the instant the observer appears. Notice a sound in the room. Notice a feeling in your body. Then notice the quiet thought, I am noticing this. See how fast that label jumps in. It claims ownership after the fact. When you turn toward the pure watcher, it collapses into more watched content. Thoughts about observing, images of an inner witness. Another story character. The eye cannot step outside the skull. Consciousness cannot stand behind itself and watch. That gap you just felt, that frustration, that flicker of vertigo, that is the structural limit doing its work. That is beyond comprehension as an experience. At this point, the usual hopes rush in. Science will solve it. We just need a few more decades, more scans, more data, more equations. Science can map correlations with stunning detail. It can show what lights up when you feel pain. It can predict what button you press before you know. But none of that gives you the thing itself. The raw fact that there is someone at all. Mechanism does not equal first-person mystery solved. Then, the spiritual hope. If I meditate hard enough, I will break through. I will fuse with some ultimate consciousness and understand. Maybe you will have vast, strange, beautiful experiences. Maybe your sense of self will dissolve and return transformed. But every vision is still a view from somewhere. There is no view from nowhere. The structure of experience never stops being the frame. The lens does not become the whole universe. It only widens or narrows and calls that enlightenment. Then the technological hope walks in, wearing a lab coat. Once we build conscious machines, we will understand ourselves. We will finally reverse engineer the soul. But building another mirror does not tell the face. It never shows its essence. You create new kinds of minds, each with its own blind spots. Each one asking the same question in a different accent. What is this that is aware of this? So there is a funeral to attend. The fantasy that one clean theory will arrive and finally make you feel complete and safe and finished. Let it die. You will never get that answer while you are alive. You will die without knowing what you are. Nothing in this video changes that. Nothing ever will. Good. Because now we can stop waiting for permission to live. Here is the compression. Consciousness is not a puzzle you solve and frame. It is a useful hallucination that lets the organism act. It is a spell you cast every time you speak. The lens cannot see the whole camera. The map cannot become the territory. The self cannot hold its full design. But you can learn the quirks of your interface. You can feel where it lies to protect you, where it distorts to keep you inside the tribe, where it hides what you already know in the dark. Most people are addicts of explanation. They want a final answer so they can stop thinking, so they can stop choosing, so they can stop risking being wrong. You are not most people. You are here because some part of you would rather live inside an unanswered question than swallow a fake solution and go back to sleep. So make a quiet pact with yourself. You can even whisper it now if you want. I will never fully understand what I am. I will learn to wield it anyway. That is the only honest contract available. If this cracked something open, leave a mark below, a sentence, a symbol, a trace for the others like you, so they know someone else is walking this corridor. Subscribe if you want more architecture of the unseen, more tools for working with the interface you cannot escape. You will never understand what consciousness really is. Beyond comprehension is where you live already. Now start using it on purpose. If this video shifted something in your mind, you're ready for the next level. Download my free ritual guide in the description. No catch, just pure psychological alchemy you can use tonight. If you want to go deeper, hit the initiation playlist. It's your step-by-step journey into breaking unconscious patterns and mastering your own mind. Both links are waiting below. Your transformation starts now. Until next time.